I'd like to show you how to use the new Corti assistant. So imagine that you're seeing a patient in your outpatient clinic, and now I'm reading the EHR, so I can put in some information now. I say has hypertension, has rheumatoid arthritis, stuff like that. I could also just click record even though the patient's not here, and then I can start saying things while I read the medical record. I can say I can see the patient had in 2014 a laparoscopic cholecystectomy, which was complicated by bile leakage, and that was managed with a transabdominal drain and an ERCP stent. And I could keep going and adding, and I could also talk about football with somebody who came into the room, and it would only pick up the medical stuff. I should not start discussing my sister's knee surgery, stuff like that. That might be a little bit confusing. But if I did talk to the nurse about my sister's knee surgery, I could also take that fact out. Let's see if it caught that. No, it was smart enough. Okay, so anyway, I keep putting in all of this context, and now I can go fetch the patient. And the patient comes in, and now I start the recording again. So, hi, I see that you were referred here for abdominal pain. Yes, I've had this terrible episodes of abdominal pain, and they come all of a sudden without any clear warning and build up within a few minutes, and it becomes absolutely excruciating. Okay, how long does that last? Well, it can last several hours actually, and then it passes. Okay. Does this pain remind you of any pain you've experienced before? Yeah, it felt like exactly when I had gallstones, but I had my gallbladder removed. Okay. All right, I'd like to examine you. And I'm going to talk to the machine now. I can see the abdomen is not distended, and there are some small scars after laparoscopic surgery. And there is no tenderness and no palpable masses, no hernias. All right. So I think what we should do is get an MRI, an MRCP, MRCP, to see whether you have a stone in your common bile duct, which, if you're particularly unfortunate, you might get one even though you have your gallbladder removed. So that's my suggestion. I'll also prescribe some pain medication for you to use in case of these attacks, diclofenac. Do you have any questions? No, not really. And then I say stop. And then I say goodbye to the patient. And then I suddenly remember, oops, I see in the medical record, and I missed that to begin with. The patient has a history of ulcers, so I add that. But actually, the patient has a history of duodenal ulcer, and the patient should try to avoid using diclofenac and use paracetamol instead. But if it's needed to use diclofenac, then only use it very sparingly. Otherwise, contact me. So that is a flexible way to input information into this system. And now I can generate my notes. Let's take a soak note. And now I can trust that the information I had in the facts list is what comes in here. We take care of that, and it's much easier machine learning task to go from structured data like this to this instead of having to go from the whole messy conversation in one bite. And we can also add another one, summary for the patient. There. And we can change it if we want to. Say shorter, remove technical terms. There, a little bit. So that is how I think I would be using the new Corti assistant.